There's a waiting room in downtown Minneapolis where I've spent more hours than I care to count. Beige walls, coffee that tastes like regret, magazines nobody reads. Every Thursday at 4 o'clock, I sit in the same chair by the window and wait for my children to decide if I deserve their time. Some weeks, they show up, some weeks, they don't. Today is week 17. My name is Stephen Parker. I'm 47 years old, and 6 years ago, I walked out on my family and didn't look back. Not for birthdays, not for graduations, not for the thousand small moments that make up a childhood. I left behind 3 kids and convinced myself I was doing them a favor. I was wrong about a lot of things back then. The hardest part isn't admitting what I did. That's actually the easy part. You stand up, you say the words, you watch people's faces change when they realize what kind of person you really are. No, the hardest part is sitting in this waiting room, week after week, knowing that my children are in the next room deciding if I'm worth the effort. Knowing that I broke something so fundamental that it might never be whole again. And knowing that even if I do everything right from this moment forward, it still might not be enough. Dr. Patricia Williams, our family therapist, told me something in our first solo session that I think about every single day. She said, "Trust breaks in seconds, Stephen, it rebuilds in years. If you're looking for quick forgiveness, you're in the wrong place." I wasn't ready to hear that then. I wanted a timeline, a roadmap, 3 months of therapy and everything's fixed, right? Show up, say you're sorry, prove you've changed, and boom, family restored. That's not how any of this works. Let me take you back to where this really begins. Not 6 years ago when I left, further back than that, because the truth is, I'd been leaving long before I actually walked out the door. I was 34 when my marriage started crumbling, 3 kids under 10. A job in construction management that had me traveling for days a week. A wife named Jennifer who looked at me like she was trying to remember who I used to be. We'd met in college. She was studying early childhood education. I was the guy who showed up to parties with a guitar I barely knew how to play. She thought I was spontaneous. I thought she was everything I'd been looking for. We were both half right. The kids came fast. Rebecca at 25. The twins, Nathan and Claire, at 28. Suddenly we weren't Jennifer and Stephen anymore. We were mom and dad, and I had no idea how to be dad. My own father had been there but absent. Present at the dinner table, gone everywhere else. He worked, came home, watched TV, went to bed. Weekends were for golf and yard work. When I try to remember conversations we had, I come up empty. We existed in the same house but separate universes. I swore I wouldn't be like that, and then I became exactly like that. Except worse, because at least my father stayed. The leaving didn't happen all at once. It was gradual, death by 1,000 small absences. Missing Rebecca's dance recital because of a project deadline. Forgetting Nathan's parent-teacher conference, falling asleep before tucking Claire in. Each time, I'd promised to do better. Each time, I'd fail. Jennifer tried. God, she tried. She'd leave notes on the bathroom mirror. Claire's school play Friday at 7. She'd text me reminders. She'd ask, quietly at first, then with increasing desperation, "Can you please just be present when you're here?" But I was already gone, checked out, living in a mental space where my family felt like an obligation I resented rather than a gift I'd been given. The affair started when Rebecca was 9. A coworker named Michelle who laughed at my jokes and didn't need anything from me. No school forms to sign, no broken dishwashers to fix. No silent dinners where everyone was angry at me for reasons I pretended not to understand. It lasted 8 months. Jennifer found out on a Tuesday in March. I remember because it was the twins' 7th birthday, and I'd missed their party to be with Michelle. When I finally came home at 9 o'clock that night with a weak excuse about work, Jennifer was sitting in the kitchen with my phone in her hand. She'd known the passcode. I'd been stupid enough to never change it. She didn't yell. That might have been easier. She just looked at me with these empty eyes and said, "Get out, Jennifer, let me explain. Get out." I should have fought harder. Should have begged. Should have done something other than what I did. But the truth is, part of me felt relieved. The mask I'd been wearing was exhausting. At least now I could stop pretending. I moved into an apartment downtown. Saw the kids every other weekend. That first month, then once a month, then the visits got harder. Rebecca would barely look at me. Nathan would sit in stony silence. Only Claire, sweet Claire, still hugged me goodbye. And that almost made it worse, because I could see the confusion in her face. Why is Daddy different? Why doesn't he live with us anymore? Why? I started canceling visits, telling myself they were better off without me. That my presence was doing more harm than good. That they'd adjust. Kids are resilient, right? People say that like it's a fact. What they don't tell you is that resilient doesn't mean undamaged. 2 years after the separation, I moved to Denver for work. Told Jennifer I'd fly back for holidays and birthdays. I made it back twice. Once for Christmas, once for Rebecca's 8th grade graduation, where I sat in the back and left before she could see me. Then I stopped coming back at all. I sent child support checks. That was it. No calls, no texts, no birthday cards. I deleted social media so I wouldn't have to see photos of the life continuing without me. Out of sight, out of mind. That was the plan. For years, I lived like a man with no past, built a new life in Denver, new job, new friends who didn't know I had children, new girlfriend who thought I was divorced but childless. Every time someone asked about kids, I'd change the subject. I was 43 years old and I'd successfully erased my own family. Until one morning in February when I woke up in a hospital bed after what the doctors politely called a cardiac event, not quite a heart attack. Close enough, I was alone. No emergency contact to call. No one sitting by my bedside. The nurse came in to check my vitals and asked if I wanted her to notify any family members. No, I said, there's no one, but that was a lie. There were three people who existed in the world because I'd helped create them. 3 people I'd abandoned because it was easier than being uncomfortable. Lying in that hospital bed, I had what I can only describe as a moment of devastating clarity. This was my life, this sterile room, this silence, this absence. And it was entirely my own doing. I thought about my father. About his emotional unavailability. About how I'd sworn to be different. About how I'd somehow managed to be worse. And I thought about Rebecca, Nathan, and Claire. Wondered what they looked like now. Wondered if they ever thought about me. Wondered if they hated me or if they'd moved past that into something more terrible. Indifference. When I got released from the hospital 3 days later, I did something I hadn't done in for years. I called Jennifer. She didn't answer. I left a voicemail. It's Steven. I know I have no right to call. But I need to talk to you, please. She called back 2 days later. Her voice was ice. What do you want? I want to apologize. I want to explain. You want. She cut me off. That's always been your problem, Steven. You want. Do you have any idea what you've done to these kids? I didn't answer. Couldn't. Rebecca is 17 now, Jennifer continued. She's applying to colleges. She has panic episodes. Do you know what triggers them? Father-daughter dances at school. Movies where the dad shows up, Father's Day. The therapist says it's abandonment trauma. Imagine that. Each word was a knife. I deserved every cut. Nathan barely talks anymore. He's 14 and he's built walls so high I can't reach him. He got in a fight at school last year. You know what he told the principal? That at least when his father left, he was honest about not wanting to be there. I was crying now. Silent, pathetic tears. And Claire. Jennifer's voice cracked. Claire is 12 years old and she still sleeps with the stuffed bear you gave her when she was 4. The only thing you left her. She asks me sometimes if you're coming back. And I have to look at my baby girl and say, I don't know. Because you made me a liar too, Steven. You made all of us live in this state of not knowing. I want to make it right, I whispered. You can't make it right. It's been for years. But, she paused, breathed, if you're serious. If you're actually serious and not just having some midlife crisis guilt trip, then there's a family therapist here in Minneapolis, Dr. Patricia Williams. I've been taking the kids to see her. If you want to try, and I mean actually try, then you need to call her. Set up your own sessions first, do the work. And then maybe, she decide if you're ready to face your children. I'll do it. Jennifer, I swear, don't swear anything to me, she said. Swear it to them, if you're brave enough. She hung up. That conversation happened 2 years ago. In some ways, it feels like yesterday. In other ways, it feels like a lifetime. I called Dr. Williams the next day. Her office was professional but warm. Photographs of families on her walls. Families that had made it through. Families that had been stitched back together. I wanted to be one of those photographs. Our first session, I did what I'd been doing for years. I explained, I justified, I provided context. The marriage was already dead. I was in a dark place. The affair was a symptom, not the cause. I thought they'd be better off without. Dr. Williams held up her hand. She was in her 50s, kind eyes, no nonsense demeanor. Stephen, I'm going to stop you right there. Everything you just said, that's the story you tell yourself. That's not the work we're going to do here. I don't understand. The work isn't about explaining why you left. The work is about understanding what you took when you went. And it's about accepting that you might spend the rest of your life trying to give back a fraction of what you stole. I felt defensive. Wanted to argue. Stole is a harsh word, is it? She leaned forward. You took their father. You took their sense of security. You took years of their childhood. You took birthday mornings and goodnight kisses and someone to call when they're scared. You took their ability to trust that people who say they love them will stay. What word would you prefer I use? I sat in silence. Here's what I need you to understand, Dr. Williams continued. If you're here because you want to feel better about yourself, we're done. There are therapists who will help you process your guilt and move on with your life. I'm not one of them. I work with families. And my job is to protect your children, not to make you feel absolved. I don't want absolution. I want my family back. You can't have your family back. That family doesn't exist anymore. The question is whether you can build something new, something honest. Something that doesn't require your children to forget what happened so you can feel comfortable. That first session lasted 90 minutes. I left feeling like I'd been put through a shredder. Everything I thought I knew about myself had been challenged. Every excuse I'd crafted had been dismantled, and I felt lighter, somehow. Like maybe, for the first time in years, I was seeing clearly. We met every week for 6 months. Just me and Dr. Williams, working through the layers of self-deception I'd built. Understanding that I hadn't left because the marriage was bad. I'd left because being a father required me to be selfless, and I'd chosen selfishness instead. We worked through my own childhood, my father's emotional absence. How I'd inherited his playbook and made it worse. We worked through my patterns in relationships, how I ran when things got difficult. How I'd never learned to sit with discomfort. And we worked on something Dr. Williams called radical accountability. No more buts. No more I was going through a hard time. Just the plain truth. I made a choice. I hurt people. I need to own that completely. After 6 months, Dr. Williams said, I think you're ready to write the letters. To each of your children, not asking for forgiveness. Not explaining yourself, just speaking truth. Acknowledging what you did. Telling them you understand if they never want to see you again, but you're here if they're willing to try. I spent 3 weeks on those letters, writing, rewriting, deleting everything and starting over. How do you compress 6 years of absence into a few pages? How do you say I'm sorry in a way that doesn't sound hollow? In the end, I kept them simple. Here's what I did. Here's what I understand it cost you. Here's what I'm doing to change. I don't expect anything from you. But if you're willing, I'd like to try. Jennifer agreed to give them the letters. Said she wouldn't pressure them either way. Their choice. Nathan responded first, not to me. Through Dr. Williams. 3 words, I'll think about it. Claire's response came a week later. Can we meet somewhere with other people around? Like at therapy, Rebecca never responded at all. The first family therapy session was scheduled for a Thursday afternoon. 10 months after I'd first called Dr. Williams. 16 months after my hospital wake-up call. The longest year and a half of my life, Dr. Williams prepared me. They might not talk. They might yell. They might walk out. Your job is to sit there and take it. No defending yourself. No explaining. Just listen and acknowledge. I arrived 30 minutes early. Sat in the waiting room rehearsing what I'd say. But when Nathan and Claire walked through the door with Jennifer, every prepared word evaporated. Nathan was 14 now, taller than me, his father's face but his mother's eyes. He looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. Not quite anger, not quite curiosity, something harder. Something protected, Claire was 12, still had some of that little girl softness but growing into someone new. Someone I'd missed becoming. She clutched Jennifer's hand and didn't meet my eyes. Rebecca wasn't there. That absence felt like a verdict. We sat in Dr. Williams' office, me on one side, them on the other. Miles of space between us that had nothing to do with the actual distance. "Thank you for coming," I started. My voice sounded foreign to my own ears. Nathan said nothing. Claire looked at her mother. Jennifer nodded slightly, permission to speak, or maybe permission to stay silent. I couldn't tell. Dr. Williams took over. "Stephen has been doing individual work with me for 6 months. He's asked for this opportunity to begin what we call trust restoration. That doesn't mean forgiveness. It doesn't mean forgetting. It means creating a space where honesty can exist, where repair might be possible, very slowly, very carefully." She looked at Nathan and Claire. "You two are in control here. We go at your pace. If you want to talk, we talk. If you want to sit in silence, we sit in silence. If you want to leave, you leave." "Understood," Claire nodded. Nathan finally spoke. "Why now?" I looked at him. "Because I almost died and I realized I'd wasted 6 years being a coward. That's not my problem." "You're right. It's not your problem, it's mine. And I don't expect you to care about my epiphany or my guilt or anything else I'm feeling. I'm here because I owe you the truth. And the truth is I left because being a father was hard and I took the easy way out. I hurt you. I hurt your sister. I hurt Claire. And there's nothing I can do to undo that." Nathan's jaw tightened. "You think showing up to therapy fixes anything?" "No. I don't think it fixes anything. I think it's the smallest possible first step of a very long journey that might not go anywhere. So what do you want from us?" That was the question, wasn't it? What did I want? Nothing, I said finally. "I don't want anything from you. I want something for you. I want you to know that what I did wasn't your fault. I want you to know that you deserved better. I want you to not carry my failure around like it's yours." Claire spoke for the first time. Her voice was so quiet I almost didn't hear it. "Do you love us?" The question broke something in me. "Yes. God, yes. I've always loved you. I was just too broken to show it in any way that mattered. Then why did you leave?" Tears now streaming down her face. "Why didn't you call? Why did you pretend we didn't exist?" I wanted to reach for her, comfort her. But Dr. Williams had been clear. No physical contact unless they initiate. So I sat with my hands in my lap and let my daughter cry and did nothing because that's what she needed. Space to feel without me trying to make it better. "Because I'm selfish," I said. "Because I was ashamed. Because every time I thought about calling, I convinced myself you were better off without me. I was wrong. I was wrong about everything. And I'm so sorry." The session lasted an hour. We didn't solve anything, didn't have any breakthrough moments. Mostly we sat in uncomfortable silence while Nathan glared and Claire cried and I tried not to fall apart. But at the end, when they were leaving, Claire looked back at me. Just for a second, it wasn't forgiveness. But it was acknowledgement, and that was more than I deserved. Dr. Williams pulled me aside after they left. "That was hard. Rebecca didn't come. Rebecca isn't ready. She might never be ready. You need to accept that possibility. I can't just give up on her." "You're not giving up. You're respecting her boundary. Rebecca is 17. She's old enough to make her own choices about this. Pushing her will only make things worse." I nodded. Tried to believe it. "Stephen, I want to be very clear about something. This process is going to take years, not months, years. And there's no guarantee it works. You might do everything right and still not get the relationship you want. You need to decide right now if you're okay with that. Because if you're going to bail when it gets too hard, it's better to bail now." "I'm not bailing." "Good. Because next week is going to be harder. They're going to have had time to process the anger that was beneath the shock. It's coming to the surface. Are you ready for that?" I wasn't, but I said yes anyway. She was right. Week 2 was harder. Nathan came armed with questions. Sharp, pointed questions designed to cut. "Where were you on my 13th birthday?" "Denver, working." "Did you think about me?" The honest answer was complicated. I'd thought about him, but I'd shoved that thought down. Convinced myself it didn't matter. "I thought about you," I said. And then I told myself thinking wasn't enough to justify calling. I was wrong. "Where were you when Claire broke her arm?" I didn't even know Claire had broken her arm. The look on my face must have said that because Nathan smiled. Not a happy smile, a gotcha smile. You don't even know, she fell off the monkey bars at school. Had to get surgery, pins in her wrist. Mom was freaking out. Where were you? I don't know. I didn't know it happened. Why not? Because I wasn't there. Because I chose not to be there. Say it better. I don't. Say it like you mean it. Say I abandoned you and I didn't know my daughter broke her arm because I couldn't be bothered to check in. Dr. Williams started to intervene, but I held up my hand. I abandoned you. I didn't know Claire broke her arm because I was too selfish to check in. I failed as a father in every way that counts. You're right to hate me. Nathan's face did something complicated. Like he wanted to keep being angry, but the acknowledgement had taken some of the wine from his sails. I don't hate you, he said finally. I don't feel anything. That's worse, isn't it? Yes, that was worse. Claire was quieter that session. She drew pictures while Nathan and I talked. At the end, she handed me one. A family stick figures. Mom, Rebecca, Nathan, Claire, and off to the side, separated by a thick black line, a smaller figure. That's you, she said. You're not part of the family. But you're in the picture. I kept that drawing. Still have it. It's the most honest assessment of where I stood. The weeks turned into months. Some sessions were productive. Some were disasters. Rebecca still refused to come. Jennifer occasionally joined us, mostly to provide context or correct my memory when I got details of the past wrong. In session 8, I learned that Rebecca had stopped eating properly when I left. Developed what her doctor called disordered eating patterns. She was better now, Jennifer assured me, but those first 2 years had been terrifying. In session 12, Nathan told me about the night he'd punched a hole in his bedroom wall. He'd been angry about something at school, but really he'd been angry at me. Had been carrying that anger around for so long it had to go somewhere. In session 15, Claire admitted she used to pretend I'd died. Because that was easier to explain to friends than my dad just didn't want to be around anymore. Every session, I died a little more inside. Every revelation about what my absence had cost them carved out another piece of me. Dr. Williams warned me about what she called guilt fatigue, the temptation to stop coming because hearing the truth was too painful. Your discomfort is not the problem here, she reminded me. Their healing is. You need to sit in that discomfort for as long as it takes. Around month 4, something small shifted. Nathan made a joke, nothing big. Just a throwaway comment about a TV show. But it was normal. For 5 seconds, we were just two people talking about a TV show. Dr. Williams caught my eye. Gave the slightest nod. Progress isn't fireworks. It's moments like these. Claire started asking questions about where I lived. What my apartment looked like. What I did for work now. Surface-level questions, but questions nonetheless. She was building a mental picture of who I was now, not just who I'd been. But Rebecca stayed away. I wrote her letters. Sent them through Jennifer. Never got responses. Dr. Williams said to keep writing anyway. Not for her. For you. So you can process what you want to say. In session 22, Nathan asked if he could see where I lived. It wasn't a formal visit request, just a question. But Jennifer and Dr. Williams had a whole conversation about it. Was it too soon? What were the boundaries? What if Nathan got upset? What if I disappointed him again? In the end, they decided to try. 1 hour, at my apartment. Jennifer would come too. Dr. Williams would be available by phone. That Saturday afternoon, they showed up at my door. My apartment was modest, clean. I'd hung some photos I'd printed from Jennifer's Facebook. Pictures of the kids from the years I'd missed. It felt presumptuous to display them, but Dr. Williams said it was good. Showed I was thinking about them even in my private space. Nathan walked around silently, looked at the photos. Opened my refrigerator for some reason, checked out my bookshelf. You read now? He asked, surprised, trying to. You used to say reading was boring. I used to say a lot of stupid things. Claire sat on my couch carefully. Like she might break something, or like something might break her. Do you live here alone? She asked. Yes. Do you have a girlfriend? The honest answer, I'd dated someone briefly last year. It hadn't worked out. I wasn't relationship material. Too much work to do on myself. No girlfriend. Just me. That's sad, sometimes, but I'm trying to fix myself before I try to be with someone else. Jennifer stood by the door, arms crossed, watching me like I might disappear if she looked away. After 45 minutes, Claire asked if we could order pizza. Such a simple request, but loaded with meaning. She wasn't ready to leave yet. We sat around my coffee table, ate pepperoni pizza, talked about nothing important, school, the weather. A movie Claire wanted to see. It was mundane, it was ordinary. It was the most important hour of my life. When they left, Nathan said, "Same time next week." I almost cried. Yeah, same time next week. The visits became a thing. Every other Saturday, sometimes just an hour, sometimes two. We developed routines, pizza and a movie. Board games Claire always won, conversations that got gradually deeper. In therapy, Dr. Williams called it trust building in low-stakes environments. We weren't tackling the big stuff. We were just existing together, learning to be comfortable in the same space. But Rebecca remained a ghost. I saw her once, by accident, at a coffee shop near Jennifer's house. I'd gone there to pick up Claire. Rebecca was walking out as I was walking in. We froze, made eye contact. For a second, I thought she might speak. Instead, she walked past me like I wasn't there. I stood in the doorway and watched her go. My eldest daughter, almost 18 now. About to graduate high school, about to leave for college, about to start a life where I'd be even less relevant than I already was. I called Dr. Williams from my car. Rebecca saw me. She didn't even acknowledge me. That's her right, I know. But it hurts. Good. It should hurt. That hurt is you finally feeling the consequences of your actions. Don't run from it. I sat in that parking lot for 20 minutes, just crying, ugly, wrenching sobs. For all the years I'd wasted, for all the damage I'd done. For the daughter who wouldn't even look at me. When I finally pulled myself together, I drove to Claire's school to pick her up. She got in the car chattering about her day, didn't notice my red eyes. Or maybe she did and was kind enough not to mention it. "Dad," she said as we pulled up to Jennifer's house. She'd started calling me Dad again. Not consistently, but sometimes. Yeah. "Rebecca's graduation is in 2 months, I know. Are you coming?" The question landed like a brick. I hadn't even thought I'd be invited. I don't know if she wants me there. She doesn't, but that's not what I asked. "Are you coming?" What was the right answer? Show up and risk making her graduation about our conflict. Or stay away and confirm what she probably already believed, that I only show up when it's convenient for me. "What do you think I should do?" Claire looked at me seriously. "I think you should come, sit in the back. Don't try to talk to her. Just be there. Maybe she'll see you. Maybe she won't, but at least you'll be there. Smart kid. When did she get so wise?" "Okay, I'll be there." Rebecca's graduation was on a Thursday evening in June. I arrived early. Sat in the very last row of the auditorium. Wore a plain shirt so I'd blend in. Brought flowers that I knew I'd probably take home with me. The ceremony was long. Endless speeches about bright futures and unlimited potential. I watched Rebecca walk across that stage to receive her diploma. Watched her smile for the photographers. Watched her celebrate with friends. She looked so much like her mother, same eyes, same smile. But there was something else there too. Something harder, something I'd helped create. After the ceremony, families poured onto the field to congratulate their graduates. I stayed in my seat, watched from a distance as Jennifer hugged Rebecca. As Nathan and Claire handed her bouquets, as Jennifer's parents appeared with a large banner. I stood to leave. There was no place for me in that celebration. Then I saw Nathan pointing in my direction, saying something to Rebecca. She turned. Our eyes met across that crowded field. I raised my hand, a small wave, acknowledging her, congratulating her, telling her with that gesture, "I see you. I'm proud of you, even if you don't want to hear it." Rebecca's face cycled through several emotions, surprise, anger, something else I couldn't identify. Then she turned back to her family. Dismissing me, I left through the side exit. Got in my car, set the flowers on the passenger seat. My phone buzzed. A text from Jennifer. "Rebecca saw you. She said to tell you thanks for coming, but don't contact her." It wasn't much, but it was something. She'd acknowledged I'd been there. That counted for something. Didn't it? Summer came. Claire went to camp. Nathan got a job at a grocery store. Rebecca left for college orientation. I kept my standing appointments with Dr. Williams, kept my Saturday visits when the kids were available, kept writing letters to Rebecca that went unanswered. In session 43, Dr. Williams asked me something unexpected. "How are you doing with all of this?" "I'm managing." That's not what I asked. "How are you doing?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "I'm tired. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. Showing up every week knowing I might not get anything back. Accepting that Nathan's getting more comfortable but Rebecca might never forgive me. Realizing that even if everything goes perfectly from here, I still can't get back those 6 years. And I'm grateful, because this is what I deserve. This hard work, this uncertainty, this slowly earning back fractional amounts of trust. I don't get to skip to the good part. I have to live in the uncomfortable middle for as long as it takes." Dr. Williams smiled. "That's growth." In October, something remarkable happened. Nathan invited me to his school's parent night, not Jennifer. Me. They're doing this thing where students present their projects to parents. I'm doing mine on architecture. "Will you come?" "Will I come?" Was he serious? "I'd love to come." "Okay. It's Tuesday at 7. Don't be weird about it. Don't be weird." That was Nathan's way of saying, don't make this into some big emotional moment. Just show up. Be normal. I could do normal. That Tuesday, I arrived at Nathan's school. Parents and students filled the cafeteria. I found Nathan's table. He'd built a model of a sustainable housing complex. The detail was incredible. "You did this?" I asked, genuinely impressed. "Yeah. We had 3 months. It's Nathan. This is amazing." He shrugged. Tried to play it cool, but I could see he was pleased. We spent 20 minutes talking about load-bearing walls and solar panels and green roofs. Normal father-son stuff, the kind of conversation we should have been having for years. When the event ended, Nathan walked me to my car. "Thanks for coming," he said. "Thanks for inviting me. It's still weird. You being here, I know, but it's less weird than before." "That's something, I guess. That's everything." He nodded. Started to walk away, then turned back. "Dad? I'm still angry at you. I don't know if I'll ever not be angry. But I'm trying." "Okay," my throat closed up. "Okay, that's more than I have any right to ask for." "Yeah, it is." He walked back to Jennifer's car. I sat in mine and let myself feel it. The progress, the possibility, the tiny, fragile thread of connection we were rebuilding one conversation at a time. Thanksgiving came. Jennifer invited me to dinner. Not as family, as a guest. Claire had asked if I could come. Jennifer had agreed on the condition that I understood my place. "You can come. You can help clean up. But you're not hosting. You're not leading any toasts. You're there because the kids want you there. That's it." Understood. That Thanksgiving might have been the strangest day of my life. Sitting at a table with people who used to be my family. Who might become something like family again. But who weren't there yet. Rebecca was home from college. She sat at the opposite end of the table from me. Didn't speak to me, but she didn't leave either. That was progress, in its own way. We ate turkey, made small talk, played board games after dinner. I helped wash dishes. Tried to be useful without being intrusive.